This story is about a company named Uber. It began on a cold winter night in Paris, France, in the year 2008. Two friends, Travis Kalanick and Garrett Camp, were standing outside trying to find a taxi. They had waited for a very long time in the cold, feeling annoyed and disappointed. They truly wondered if a taxi would ever show up to take them where they needed to go. This frustrating situation gave them a significant idea. At that time, getting a taxi was often a difficult experience. People had to call dispatchers and then wait, hoping the car would arrive on time. Sometimes taxis were late or they simply did not appear at all. The cars were not always in the best condition, and the process of paying would be inconvenient, requiring exact cash or dealing with tips. Travis and Garrett saw all these problems and believed strongly that there had to be a much easier and better way for people to travel within cities. They dreamed of creating a new service, one where you could simply open your phone, tap a button, and a nice car would come to you quickly. You would see the car's journey on a map, so you always knew it was coming. Payment would be smooth and automatic, without any cash. This bold vision led to the creation of a company that would grow incredibly fast and become very well known. However, this company would also face many controversies and legal battles. Its innovative approach to transportation would often challenge existing rules and upset the traditional taxi industry. This marks the beginning of Uber's exciting and often challenging story. 2. A new idea. Travis Kalanick was one of Uber's founders. As a young man, he faced hard times and found comfort in work. When he was a teenager, he sold kitchen knives door to door. This helped him learn important sales skills. Before Uber, Travis started other companies. He dropped out of college to create a search engine called Scour. This company was like Napster. Scour faced a big lawsuit for $250 billion because of copyright problems. The company went bankrupt. Travis was unhappy about this. He then started a new business called Red Swoosh, which he called a revenge business. The idea was similar, using peer-to-peer technology. Travis managed to turn the companies that sued him into his customers. He later sold Red Swoosh for millions of dollars. This money helped him start his next big project, Uber. Travis and his friend Garrett were often annoyed by how difficult it was to get a taxi. They thought there must be a better way. The idea for UberCab came to them during a James Bond movie. In the movie, James Bond could see a car moving on a map using his phone. This gave them the idea for their new app. UberCab started in San Francisco in 2010. It was a luxury service. You could order a car with a phone app, watch it come on a map, and pay easily without cash. The cars were black, fancy, clean, and sometimes had cold water. Getting an Uber quickly became a sign of status in rich areas of San Francisco. It was a good start for a few months. Then, on October 20th, the transportation agency visited Uber's office. They said Uber was breaking the law. All Uber's drivers were licensed professionals. But Uber did not own the cars. Drivers used their own cars. This saved Uber money but caused legal problems. The authorities said Uber could pay fines of up to $5,000 for each trip every day. The Uber team, many of them young, were scared. They faced fines and possible jail time. But Travis Kalanick was not worried. He told his team to do nothing and ignore the rules. He decided they would remove cab from the name, becoming just Uber. He said, "We are not a taxi company. We are a technology company." He believed these old rules did not apply to them. Travis often made new definitions like this. For example, he said drivers were not employees but partners. This meant Uber did not have to give them employee benefits. Travis knew the authorities would not agree, so he got ready for a fight. 3. Breaking the rules. Uber wanted to grow very quickly. Travis Kalanick, Uber's co-founder, knew that if many people used Uber, governments could not easily stop it. Uber bought many iPhones cheaply for drivers, pre-installed with the app. They gave drivers extra money for completing many trips each week. This quickly brought many new drivers to Uber. To get riders, Uber offered the first ride for free, then discounts on the next two. The company believed people would see Uber's value after a few tries. This plan was expensive, losing money on every ride, but it worked. Soon, many people used Uber instead of old taxis. Uber then moved to other cities with the same plan. The app quickly became popular. When local authorities threatened Uber, the company used its app to fight back. It sent messages to users with buttons to sign petitions or email local leaders with pre-written messages. City offices received many emails supporting Uber. Uber also asked users to protest outside city halls. In New York, when few users came, Uber sent its own employees instead. Travis said the taxi business was unfair, and Uber couldn't win by old rules. In 2012, UberX launched, letting almost anyone drive. This caused more legal issues. Officials threatened drivers, but Uber promised to pay their fines and towing fees. Uber also had a secret system to hide from the police called Grayball. Travis knew officials would download the app to find their cars. So, Uber created software to detect when police or government workers tried to use it. For these users, Grayball showed a fake map with no cars, or said no drivers nearby. Normal users saw many cars. How did Grayball know who to hide from? It flagged users who opened the app near police stations or government buildings. Uber checked personal details and social media to identify government officials. Grayball also detected strange actions, like opening the app repeatedly without ordering. Uber even hired former spy agency workers to improve Grayball. Often, officials ordered an Uber, but their ride was canceled. They thought drivers had stopped working. But they were just seeing a fake map, with all Uber cars hidden by Grayball. Uber kept Grayball's secret until 2017. By then, Uber was legal in most big cities and too popular to stop. Uber often changed laws to fit its business. 4. The Big Fight. After Uber started, a new company called Lyft also began. This happened around the same time Uber changed from a luxury car service to one where anyone could drive. Suddenly, two ride-sharing apps offered similar services. They were now direct competitors. Travis Kalanick, Uber CEO, wanted to win this fight completely. He believed only one company could be number one. He was ready to do anything to make sure Uber won. Lyft had events to get new drivers. These were small parties with food and games. Uber employees often went to these parties uninvited. They gave out free money codes to Lyft drivers, asking them to join Uber instead. Lyft also gave pink mustaches for drivers to put on their cars, so people would easily see them. Uber then put up billboards that said, "Shave the stash," telling people to use Uber. Uber also made many fake accounts on the Lyft app. This helped them see where Lyft drivers were. They fed this information into a secret computer program called Hell. Uber already had a program called Heaven that showed all Uber drivers. Hell showed all Lyft drivers. With this, Uber found drivers who worked for both companies. Uber then offered these drivers more rides and money bonuses. The goal was to make these drivers stop working for Lyft entirely. Uber paid them more than other drivers to pull them away from Lyft. Once they stopped using Lyft, the extra bonuses would end. For drivers who worked only for Lyft, Uber had another plan. Uber employees would order a ride on the Lyft app near that driver. When the Lyft driver arrived, the Uber employee would try to get them to join Uber. Sometimes, Uber employees would order many Lyft rides at once using different phones. Then they would cancel the rides at the very last moment. This caused problems for Lyft drivers and the company. Travis also had a special way to get more money from investors. He would find out when Lyft had meetings to get money. After Lyft's meeting, Travis would call those same investors. He told them that Uber would also be looking for money soon. Investors often chose Uber because it was a bigger company. They could not invest in two rival companies. Travis was very good at talking to investors. He made them excited about Uber's future. He said Uber would not just move people, but also deliver everything, becoming a rival to Amazon. Travis sometimes made investors wait for his reply. This made them want to invest even more. Soon, Uber got huge investments, including $258 million from Google Ventures. More money meant Uber could spend more on growing and marketing. This gave Uber a big advantage over Lyft. Travis and Uber believed that business was a tough competition, and you had to do whatever it took to win. 5. A darker side. The fast growth of Uber started to show a darker side. It had a bad effect on many taxi drivers' lives. Some taxi drivers found it very hard to earn enough money to live. One driver, Doug Shifter, worked extremely long hours, sometimes 120 hours a week. He could not make enough money, and sadly, he took his own life. In India, another driver died by suicide because he could not pay his car loan. His fellow drivers went to Uber's office with his body, saying Uber's low pay was the reason he died. Many people noticed that even if Uber drivers earned money, much of it went to fuel, taxes, and car repairs. This often left them with less than minimum wage. Also, Uber drivers were not employees. This meant they did not get benefits or job security like traditional taxi drivers. Allowing almost anyone to become a driver also created serious safety problems for passengers. In 2014, a 26-year-old woman ordered an Uber late at night. She fell asleep in the car. The driver changed his route and turned off his phone so Uber could not track him. He stopped the car and attacked her. The woman managed to take a photo of his license plate, and the police caught the driver. This news spread quickly. Many people blamed Uber for not having strong enough safety checks. This made many believe Uber was not a safe service. Some countries even stopped ride-hailing services for a short time. Despite more bad incidents over the years, Uber did not make it harder to become a driver. There were also reports that thieves used Uber to move drugs and for human trafficking. This happened because Uber gave free money bonuses to new drivers, which helped fund these crimes without meaning to. Uber's good reputation slowly got worse. News stories came out about how Uber used grayball to trick city officials. People also learned about Uber's aggressive methods against competitors like Lyft. More bad news followed. For example, it was found that in Indonesia, Uber had paid police officers illegally. They even tried to hide these payments as business costs. Uber also had problems with user data and privacy. At one point, the app could track users even after their ride finished. It was reported that Uber employees looked at the travel data of celebrities. Later, in 2017, Uber paid hackers $100,000 to keep quiet about a big data breach. This leak exposed the personal information of 57 million Uber customers. Uber also had to pay $28.5 million in a lawsuit for saying its background checks were better than they actually were. One of the biggest moments that turned public opinion against Uber happened in 2017. Taxi drivers in New York City went on strike to protest a travel ban on Muslim countries by President Donald Trump. Uber did not support the strike. Instead, Uber continued to operate, making money while taxis were off the road. Many people were very angry. The movement Delete Uber started trending online. Over 500,000 people deleted their Uber accounts, and many more removed the app from their phones. Lyft, which Uber had fought hard against, suddenly became popular again as people switched to using it. This event, along with all the other problems, made Uber's public image reach a new low. 6. Big problems. Uber wanted very much to succeed in China. It was a huge market with many people. Travis invested billions of dollars there. He tried the same plan as before, offer many free rides and bonuses to new drivers and riders. However, this strategy faced new problems in China. Scammers found a way to cheat Uber. They bought many cheap smartphones. They set up half of these phones as fake driver accounts, and the other half as fake passenger accounts. A scammer would then use a passenger phone to ask for a ride. They would use a driver phone to accept their own request. The rides were free for the passenger side because of Uber's promotions. But the driver side still earned money for the trip, plus extra bonus money from Uber for new drivers. So scammers earned money twice for fake rides. They drove around for hours, building up high fares, then cashed out. After that, they would clear the phones and start over with new Uber accounts. Uber lost millions of dollars this way. Uber tried to stop these scammers, but Apple, the phone company, had new privacy rules. Uber was not allowed to track special numbers on phones, called IMEI numbers. This made it hard to know when scammers were using the same device with a new account. To fix this, Uber put hidden code into its app. This code let Uber track data it needed, but it broke Apple's rules. When Apple found out, they were very angry. They threatened to remove Uber's app from their App Store completely. Uber also faced a strong local rival in China called Didi. Didi was a Chinese company, and the Chinese government often helped it. Didi used many ways to fight Uber. They paid local taxi drivers to protest Uber. They sent fake text messages to Uber drivers, telling them Uber had closed. Didi even sent its own employees to work undercover at Uber to learn its secrets. After losing billions of dollars in China, Uber finally made a deal with Didi. Uber stopped its business in China. In return, Uber received a part of Didi's company. Uber's investors were happy with this business choice, but Travis was disappointed. He had wanted to win the market completely, not make a compromise. This experience made Travis feel even more that the world was against Uber. More problems followed. A video went viral showing Travis arguing with one of Uber's own drivers. The driver complained that Uber had lowered prices for rides, making it hard to earn enough money. Travis responded by saying some people do not like to take responsibility for their own problems. This public argument damaged Uber's image. At the same time, Uber's co-founder, Garrett, spoke about self-driving cars. He said they would be a big part of Uber's future. Many Uber drivers heard this and felt that Uber did not care about their jobs. Uber felt it needed self-driving technology to stay ahead. If a company like Google made a self-driving ride-sharing app first, Uber could lose its business. So, Uber hired many engineers from Google who worked on self-driving cars. Google then sued Uber. Google claimed that Uber had stolen important trade secrets about their self-driving vehicles. This meant Uber was now fighting many big battles on different fronts. 7. Trouble inside the company. Uber had a culture where people worked very hard. Travis Kalanick believed work was everything. He often worked all hours and expected his employees to do the same. For him, working at Uber was not just a job, it was a mission. Employees often felt burnt out. Some even saw therapists, but they often missed appointments because they were too busy with work. Travis created a feeling of us versus them inside the company. He wanted everyone to think it was Uber against the rest of the world. He was a very good leader and could make employees excited about changing the world. He gave young employees a lot of power to make important decisions. This helped Uber grow fast. However, it also meant that different teams sometimes fought each other instead of working together. Uber also had a work hard, play hard attitude. The company threw big parties when they reached goals. One famous party in Las Vegas cost Uber about $25 million. Employees got credit cards with money to spend. Even famous singers like Beyoncé performed at these events. These parties made employees feel part of something special, but the company culture had a darker side. One big scandal started when a former employee, Susan Fowler, wrote about her experiences. She said her boss sexually harassed her. Human Resources did not take it seriously because it was his first offense, and he was important to the team. But later, it came out that this was not the first time he had been accused. Uber had ignored many complaints against him. After Susan's story, many other employees also spoke out about sexism and bad behavior from senior staff. Travis then ordered a deep investigation into Uber's culture. The report found hundreds of claims of physical violence and sexual assault. Uber's workplace was very toxic. At a company meeting to discuss these issues, a male board member made a sexist joke. When Arianna Huffington, the only woman on the board, spoke about bringing more women onto the board, he interrupted her, saying, "Actually, what it shows us is much likely to be more talking." This incident showed many people that the problems started at the very top. In the past, Travis himself had made comments like calling Uber "boober" because he said it helped him attract women. All these problems put a lot of pressure on Travis. He once collapsed, saying, "I'm terrible." Then he received very sad news. His parents were in a boating accident. His father was hurt and his mother died. After this, in June 2017, Travis announced he would take a break from Uber. He said he needed to work on himself and come back as a better leader. 8. The end of the story. Travis Kalanick was forced to leave his job as CEO. This was not his choice. Uber's investors and board made him resign, blaming him for many problems. Travis felt betrayed. Many think that without his strong drive, Uber would not be so big today. His time at Uber was finished. After Travis left, Uber began to change. A new CEO tried to build better relationships with drivers and improve the company's image. Uber became more stable and there were fewer scandals. Investors were pleased. Later, Uber had its IPO, selling shares to the public. Investors hoped for big success. But the first day of trading was very disappointing. Uber's stock value dropped a lot. It was one of the worst IPOs on Wall Street in many years. People were not eager to buy shares. This poor IPO was likely because Uber still loses much money each year. After more than 10 years, it made no profit. Also, Uber's past rule-breaking likely hurt its public image. Uber's story shows a company growing big by challenging existing rules. Travis Kalanick, though gone, remains a billionaire. His time at Uber brought huge successes and much controversy. Should a company break rules for faster growth?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.